Hi, so today we'll be trying to reproduce this sketch that I've done a couple of days ago. So basically, I'm just going to render it a couple of more times just to show you what it looks like. Alright, so let's get started. So we have our sketch right here. Save this. There we go. Okay, awesome. Okay, so first thing that we'll need to do, I have prepared a background color for this and a palette color as well. There you go. So awesome. So just because I not really great with colors, so I've done them beforehand. There we go. Okay, and let's set the background to the background color. Awesome. There we go. Okay, great. So what we first need, if we take a look at this, so we see that they seems to be drawn in a grid, right? So we'll create a grid first. So a 2x2 grid, const grid. There we go. Okay, and we could also just, I mean, we don't really need, well, let's keep it as grid. Okay, so, and we don't want a grid of 600 by 600. So let's scale the canvas to the grid, which will be like by 30, let's say. So const scl for the scale of the grid to be 30. So let's get the amount of rows and columns that we have. So I'm also going to put those in here as variable. So let calls and let rows, and let's do it. Calls will be equal to width divided by the scale, and let's floor this so that we don't have any floating point number. Rows will be equal to the floor of the height divided by the scale. Awesome. So we have our columns and our rows. Let's create our grid now. So for let x equals to 0, x is less than the calls, x plus plus. Let's do the same for the rows. For let y is equal to 0, y is less than the rows, y plus plus. And then in here we'll have grid index x will be equal to an empty array, and grid index y will also be equal to index x, index y, and let's set it to true. So what I'm thinking is that for right now, let's say that we want to fill all of the spaces in the grid. Maybe eventually we only want to fill maybe half of the spaces or something like that. We could have like some grid indexes set to false, right? So let's okay, great. So, and I'm thinking we don't need it as grid. We can just put it as like available and set this to an array, and not have this over here. And let's say maybe here we can say available not push, and we can push into it. We will need the x and y, so x comma y, and let's say that we always push it in, right? So all right, so this is our available spaces. Cool. Let's first try to just get let's go in the background right away. and let's draw maybe points for every available cells. And I want to get the available cells randomly, right? So we could shuffle the available list, right? I'm not sure if there is a shuffle. There is some method called shuffle. The first parameter array is the array to be shuffled. For example, shuffled my array will shuffle the element of my array. By default, the original array won't be modified. Instead, a copy will be created. Cool. All right, so let's use the shuffle. So available, let's do let, and then available will be equal to shuffle available. There you go. Just because I want to get those not at the same time. Let's also have a variable for the index, the current index we're drawing. And let's start this at 0. And then let's always in the draw loop. So we're gonna draw like one slot every time. So let's update the index by 1. And I might want to start from the end instead. So available.length -1. There we go. Okay, so we'll need to go down, right? So minus, there we go. And let's also remove it from the available list. Well, actually we don't really need to remove it from the available list, and we can start at 0. I'm sorry, I'm a bit confused today. So yeah, we just don't need to draw it anymore. So, and if the index is equal to available.length, we want to stop the loop. No loop. There we go. Okay, awesome. So we've got the base principle down. Now let's draw every space in the available list as, I don't know, let's do them as points for right now. So stroke, and let's do maybe a function to set maybe the set the color, right? Set yeah, sure, set color, that's fine. So const color, let's just call it col because color is a reserved word for P5, and let's get a random value from our palette. And then let's set the stroke to that value, so col. And let's also set the stroke weight to maybe, let's start with 5, we can update it afterwards. Let's say no fill. And that's fine for right now. So first thing, we need to set the color every time. Then we want, let's say we want to draw a point for right now, point, and let's get the value const spot, let's call it, I don't know, spot or just xy, right? X, y, there we go, that's cool. And this will be available index. Okay, awesome. And the point will be at x, y. There we go. Now we should be seeing already something. So there is an issue. Random. Random. There we go. So we are seeing some points, right? So let's stop drawing the background. I know the issue, but that's not the issue, but let's stop drawing the background, right? So it's all the way over there, and let's not draw it there, but let's draw it in the setup once. There, okay, cool. So the issue is that these needs to be multiplied by the scale. So x, y, there you go. Whoa, not. There you go. Awesome. So we're filling the grid already with random points, with points of random color. Awesome. Cool. And also let's move it so that we don't have this at the on the edges, on the sides, right? So let's move it back. So here we just need to add so these are this is the space taken, right? So let's do rest x, rest width would be equal to, oh, and let's move this down. Rest width would be equal to width minus the calls dot calls times SCL, and then it's going to be basically the same but for the rows, and the height for rest height. And I want to add half of that to here, right? So let's just put this here, plus rest width divided by 2, and here same thing, but for the rest height, plus rest height divided by 2. There you go. I know I don't need the parentheses, but I rather have them. Awesome. So now it's not, well, it is still doing it. Why is that? Let me think about it. Row height times the scale plus, let's just print those values. Rest width, rest height, save, let's see them. Oh, they're 0, okay. Plus, well, here, let's do plus the scale. Okay, great. Now they're not on the edge directly. Awesome. Great. So what do we want to do? We want to draw not only points, right? This is using some kind of brush, but let's just do it with regular lines for right now. So we want to draw points. We want to draw some kind of lines and some spirals of different size, it seems, right? So let's do the artist first. Let's do, I believe, it depends on who's doing it. Let's do the spiral first. It doesn't matter. We've already done the point. So let's do the spiral now. Okay. So let's do a function for the spiral. Spiral. Okay, cool. And it's going to receive an x and y, which will be its middle position, right? This, let's say this point or this one, right? Okay, so basically we need to draw a circle, but we need to update its radius as the circle is getting drawn. So to draw just a basic circle, and let's replace our point. Well, let's comment out all of this, and let's just draw, for right now, let's just draw the spiral in the middle of the canvas, right? Set color, and let's set the background as well, just for right now, just while we're doing the spiral. And let's do width divided by 2 and height divided by 2. There we go. Okay, so yeah, I mean, it's not showing anything because we haven't done anything in the spiral function. Okay, So we need some kind of radius, which will be updated. Okay, so let radius start at 0, and let's do a loop. For let I is equal to 0, I is less than, I don't know, let's do 300 for now. I is less than, I plus equal 0.5. Let's do something like this, right? So normally to get the x and y of the points around the circle, you would do, oh, and I said, let's do the radius as like 100. So to get the x value, normally you would do like the cosine of the angle, and let's do const angle being equal to the map of, and let's do let max be equal to 300 max. Okay, so it's going to be I, which goes from 0 to the max, and we want it to go from 0 to 2 pi, right? So radiant values for an angle. And so angle passing to cos, and we want to multiply it by the radius, right? And now we've got the x, and now we just need the y, which is basically the same thing, but it's going to be the sin. And then we can draw, let's draw a shape. So begin shape. So let's draw just lines for those. So vertex at x, y. Oh, and this x, y, we can just ax, ay, there we go, it doesn't matter. That's fine. Okay, and let's translate, or let's just add to this plus x plus y. There, now it should be in the middle. And then let's do end shape. Right, so we do have a circle. Let me not set the color, let me do the stroke. Sure, no fill. And stroke 255. Just for the time that we're doing this, this spiral, and then afterwards we can change it. And stroke weight being, I don't know, let's keep it at 5. It was good, I think. Okay. So what is the issue right now? Should show the spiral that we had. Well, the circle. Stroke 255, no fill, stroke weight 5. Is there any issue over here? There is. Stroke, oh, I'm missing R. There you go. There you go, awesome. So we have a circle. That's how you do a circle. Now we want, while we're drawing the circle, we want to either reduce or make it bigger. So I'm thinking make it bigger. So we start the radius at 0, and then we start drawing the circle, and we bump up the radius, right? So yeah, so let's say the radius is 0. Let's update the radius here. Plus equal, and let's update it by, I don't know, 0.5. Sure. Okay, great. So that's working. Maybe update it by 0.1, right? Okay, sure, that's better. And here, what I want is to do more than one circle, because right now it's going from 0 to 2 pi, right? But I wanted to do like 0, 2 pi, and like I wanted to do more than one turn. So we could possibly do like max divided by 2 should do 2 turns, right? There we go, 2 turns. Max divided by 3 should do 3 turns, right? Max divided by 5 should do 5 turns, right? So let's do 4 turns for right now. I think it's fine, it's looking good. Okay, so we have our spiral method, right? That's good. Awesome. So this is working. Let's add it back. Let's put back what we had earlier, which was none of this. And then spiral. Instead of points, let's just do the spiral at XY. So it is filling it in with spirals. That's great. Though right now it's a bit much in terms of spirals, right? So what I'm thinking is we could do randomly either spiral points or the lines that we need to do eventually. So let's do that. So let's get a random value, const random. Let's get just value equal random, and this is going to get us a value between 0 and 1, right? So we can, okay, we can say that maybe we want the spiral, like, I don't know, if the spiral, if the value is lower than, I don't know, point, I want 10% of the time a spiral, and let's say else the rest of the time when it's not spiral, I want a point, right? So it's filling in with points and spiral right now. I think it's a bit much, 10%. Maybe it's because our spiral are pretty big, right? We could change this to maybe 3 and change this to maybe 0.05, right? These are a bit smaller spiral, right? But I think 10% is still too much. Let's do like 5%. Sure, that's fine. May even still be a little bit too much, but that's okay for right now. We'll leave it as at that. Now I want to be able to do our our lines, right? Our random looking lines, like over here or over here, over there, right? They seem to be going from one given point to another one and sometimes going further, right? So let's say this one going here, 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 here. So I'm thinking of a random walker. So we could try this. So basically here, I'm going to do the same kind of thing, but create a function called lines. Sure. And it's going to have a start point. Let's call line and let's do the middle again. So width divided by 2 and height divided by 2. Again, the stroke 255, 255, there we go. And the stroke weight 5. Okay, yeah, I mean, it's not going to draw anything because we haven't set it to draw anything. Okay, so let's have an array of the points. Or okay, so we know we start at XY and we either go down, up, left, or right. So let's have an if condition. So let's have const directions, which will just be an array with like top, bottom, left, and right. There you go. Okay. Let's put this on the same line. It's fine. Okay, great. So we could do, we could get a random direction. So const, let's say value again, just because random is already taken, random from the directions list. So, and we can say if value equals top and do something specific, then else if value equal bottom, do something else, and then same thing again 2 times. There we go, but it's going to be for left and right. Okay, awesome. Okay, good. So I want to do lines that goes from maybe like 2 to maybe like 8 or 9, right? I want to like join 8 or 9 points, right? At most, and 2 at the lowest, right? So let me do something like max, which by default will be equal to random between 2 and 8. And we're going to floor because we don't want any floating number. Okay, so I want to call lines. Oh, and I will pass also points, which to start with will be an empty array. So, okay, so here we'll just do if points dot length is equal to 0, then we want to first add the xy that we were provided. Points dot push, and then let's do an object with xy keys and value, and then we want to always add the new xy. So let's do const pos. This will be like the new position. It will be xy to start with, and so if it's top, pos dot y will be remove the scale, right? So remove 1 spacing. And same, but for bottom it's going to be plus because canvas 0 0 going down, it's adding. Okay, and then left it's going to be minus, and then right it's going to be plus. There we go. And then we can do points dot push, and we push the position. There you go. And then if points dot length is equal to max, then we want to draw, else we can just call our lines method again until we get it. So lines, and then we start at pos. Yeah, pos, and then max, and then points, right? This should be fine. And then here we just need to do lines. So begin, shape, and then for every element in points. So for p const p of points, let's do vertex at p dot x and p dot y. Let's do end shape great. Now we have an error, I'm pretty sure. Maximum call exceeded size. Okay, let me refresh. Okay, so it is getting too much. Okay, yeah. Max points dot length is equal to max line. Oh, yeah. Pause dot x, pause dot y. There. Awesome. It's a bit too much. Too much. Let's just do it once in the setup. There. Okay. And we want no fill, right? So our random walker is creating those lines for us, right? So if I refresh, we're gonna have a couple of different lines. That's pretty much what we want. Cool. Up to 8, right? So, and sometimes it's going back on itself. I'm fine with it. Let's even do 9. Yeah, that's good. Okay. All right, so we are pretty much done. The only thing left is to add this here, remove these. Awesome. Let's remove the background as well. Save. And else, if we want the points to be there more often than the rest, so points maybe whenever the value is between 0.05 and I don't know 90% of the time, right? Or 85% of the time. And then else, let's do lines at x, whoa, what? Okay, x, comma, y. There you go. Now it's done. Awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much it. One thing I might want to do is give a bit of space. Here, minus height divided by 4, right? Just so that we have like we can draw on the edges and still have the canvas. So there you go. That's pretty much it. Have fun with it. Update it however you like. Sure, it's not using the brush and whatnot, but you can go ahead and use it. Have fun with it. Oh, one last thing before we leave. I wanted to not draw all of the points. So maybe if random is greater than, I don't know, 0.3, then we add it, right? So I was thinking of this like that, right? So we draw about 70% of the points right now. There you go. So we're not drawing all of them, but that's pretty good. All right. Well, thank you. See you in the next one, and hope you enjoyed the video.